Hi everyone, welcome to the bi-weekly, bi-monthly web discussion meeting. You are welcome to write your names in the attendees. Um, let's see what we have today. We have a couple of notes, and the first note will be from Sidhu. You would like to introduce your topic?
Yeah, sure, Igor. So, yeah, I just raised this enhancement proposal to remove the Bazel from Qport. So, I
Mhm,
actually got it reviewed internally. I mean, from the team, yeah, couple of people reviewed. So, yeah, just need actually reviews and feedback, and I just want to know the opinion of the community, uh, what they feel about it, and like the feedback, so that like I can uh I can actually work on that. So yeah,
mhm,
that's one thing. And so that like it will also reach more people, more people in the community. So once it got reviewed, so yeah, that's why I was bringing here.
mhm,
Yeah, so that's the
mhm. I see. Well, and you want to target it for the next, for the upcoming Qville release,
yeah,
or part of
actually,
it?
yeah, I still didn't decide it. Like I was thinking, maybe like why, because I mean, this is like a vast effort, right? So I'm not sure whether that will be
Mhm,
completed within that time frame. But I was thinking to target to under 10, but yeah, I just need community opinion on that as well. Like, yeah. So yeah, I have raised a couple of draft PRs, which are I mean, some are like using plain Bazel DNF, and using container files and the Go build. And there is a another PR that will basically uh, replaces I mean, unit testing with pure Golang without Bazel. So those are also included in the web. So I just worked on them, and yeah, currently these two are draft and POC. So if community reviews and give me some feedback, so I can work on that. Yeah, and caching techniques, I am still researching on that. Yeah, so I will update the web. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
mhm. Okay, thank you. Jed, you raised your hand?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think most people probably think that because not many people like basil. Um, but I would target 111. Like 110 sounds very very tight. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I will target 111. Yeah, I will add that actually in the web.
Eddie?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think it will be great that will reduce our maintenance burden with Bazel. I have a few questions. Um, One, do you have a POC that this is actually working, or is it part of the your current effort? Like, is it working in all aspects that you can build
Yeah,
today?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, actually, I was able to build all the Qbot images, then run E2 tests, and it's all working. So it is part of that first POC PR, that is decouple base images from. Yeah, maybe I'll send you that PR here. Uh, so
No,
it is
it's enough
working.
to say, just enough
Yeah,
to say that you POC'd it, and
yeah,
from a POC point of view, I guess one of the interesting outcomes is if you can build it and then run all the functional tests. That works,
yeah,
or
yeah.
this is still.
Yeah, that is working actually, but the caching is still not there. So I am trying to incorporate the caching, because Bazel comes with a very good caching mechanism, right? So I sometimes see the time it took to run the E2E test will be a little more compared to the Bazel. So yeah, the jobs are taking a little more time, so that I'm still working on. But it's the POC, it's all working. I was able to build keyboard, deploy the keyboard, then run E2E test, and yeah, it's all working actually. Yeah.
Okay, great. And by the way, you mean caching? It's between PRs. That's what you mean? And
Like suppose, I mean, when we run the cube, we build the Qbert images using Bazel, right? So we have a remote caching server with Bazel, and like it will take very less time to build all the images because that caching is there with the Bazel, that remote caching. Now, if we are removing Bazel, so we need to go with the Go caching and container caching. So we have to somewhere put that Go build cache, container cache, and we have to incorporate into the like our E2E test jobs like SIG compute and all, so that like it will take near the same time as Bazel builds. Yeah, that's what I was trying to actually incorporate. Yeah.
okay, thanks.
Lee, you can go on.
Yeah, like what Jed said, I think most people will be in favor of this. In terms of testing it, like I think this might justify us standing up like a temporary fork or something during 110, so we can play around with this and have a separate set of prowl jobs to run against it as well. Like there's a lot of stuff that we do that's wrapped in scripts and everything within the code base where you could potentially just reuse the existing jobs, I guess. But it would be good to see this actually running as intended against prowl jobs that are written as eventually intended as well. So if we push this back to 111, maybe that's something we can do in 110 under the QVIT namespace under a separate project there or something, just so that we're all happy with how you're building and testing the project, and the functional tests are working as expected and stuff. I don't know if folks are okay with
Yeah.
that.
By the way, have
Yeah.
you raised it with the CI SIG? Like, it was discussed there as well?
Yeah, actually, I have talked with Daniel Hiller and Dylan White about it, and yeah, they also gave like, okay, please continue the effort. Like, they're also suggesting to remove Bazel, and yeah, there is a Red Hat sync up call there. I discussed with Tal Nissan as well. So yeah, they were actually suggesting. I mean, it was initial time, so it was they all suggested like to create a web and bring it to the community for more reach. So yeah, I discussed with 6CA people, Daniel Hiller and Dylan White. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they can help you with what Lee suggested now.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So leave. I will confirm again. So we will create a like separate repo kind of thing in KubeVirt Arc, and that will be having my changes, and we can run the jobs there. Like we can test uh, this container files approach and see like how it is working. So that's what you suggested, right? So I want to confirm again.
Yeah, that's the suggestion, just so that we can refine stuff out of tree, and you're not trying to kind of reuse the existing jobs in QVert. So yeah, just call it QVert. I don't know, no prowl, no Basil, sorry. And then in Project Infra, we can have a separate, freshly written kind of set of jobs. And it will just
Okay.
make that transition in 1.11 potentially easier if it's all been refined. Then it's known to work, and then as soon as we cut over to 1.11 dev, we can land the PRs in Project Infra and QVert based on the experience that we've had in that repo and everyone being kind of cool with things.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Got it. Yeah.
I think this should be in the web, like in your planning, because I'm not sure what is this implication on the cost. Like maybe the cost for adding this to the infra configuration is huge. So maybe there are other options. I don't know. Just if you can write it in the web of the plan of how you're going to develop it, like in phases or something, then it will help, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I will. Yeah, I mean, my initial plan is that only like there is two actually flows, one with Bazel and one with container files, and the Bazel flow will not be disturbed, and we will create pro jobs for the known Bazel targets, and we will run them on the PRs, but they are all non-blocking. So they will run, but they will like we didn't block any PR with them, and we'll see like how they behave, and like if once they are stabilized, then that to like yeah. Make them as like retire the old jobs and make them as the blocking jobs like that I thought, but I will mention everything yeah, Edward, in the web. Yeah.
Great stuff. And yeah, the idea to fork will be great because, right, we don't have, cannot use feature gates for the build system, and it will be, I think, much easier to incrementally experiment it using another fork. And yeah, so cool. So the 6 AI is also in the loop, so it should go
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, back to the agenda. Next topic will be actually mine, and I'm shepherding the VSOC confinement web, and Felix couldn't join today because he has like conflicting meeting with GSOC, I think. And yeah, I wanted to discuss this with you and with the approvers because it may be a little bit confusing. And we like the web was created as part of the enhancement of the original web of VSOC. And the original web was created way before we had the web process. And basically, this is why it may be confusing, because the VSOC feature get alpha was introduced back then in release 059. And what we would like to do is we want to graduate VSOC to beta, and the web 222 was as a requirement for VSOC, for the beta graduation for VSOC. So like VSOC to be more secured when we use the local namespace confinement. So basically, this web is like it's enhancing the already existing proposal of the VSOC. So this is why we want to graduate it for beta in the upcoming release. And also, it may look like it should be just retargeting should just be here, like the changing the web target version. But we wanted to make it clear that this web is based on the original proposal, and this web only enhances it only makes the support for the local confinement. So basically, no API change, nothing like to, and we also have an adopter that would like to use it. So this is why we would like to basically move it to beta and not leave it in alpha for the upcoming release 1.10. So yeah, anyway, if it's still not unclear, we can later discuss it through the web comments. Yeah, Jed.
So you're basically asking for an exception on the process, because we usually don't mix code changes with phase graduations, but it sounds like you have a good point there. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I also wanted. I mean, I'm not in a rush to like instead of doing it. We all like we want to keep it beta for 2 releases. So basically, we can ask, okay, why we do alpha beta beta and not like alpha alpha beta, right? because like we think we have like a little bit strong arguments to move it for beta, and yeah, if it's kind of an exception, if it sounds like it makes sense, good. If you want to discuss it further, also, like
Just
you know,
why is it I didn't know about this rule. What do you mean there is a rule to if you move between phases, why you cannot change the code? Can you elaborate, please?
So the criteria for moving from alpha to beta is that the code has not significantly changed in the past, I don't know, month or releases, and that people are using it and it's like it's been considered stable. If you make a lot of code changes, you cannot make that statement that uh, the code in its current shape has not changed in a while and has been stable. It's in the that's on screen right now.
Also, you mean that this one change significantly the code? That's what you mean? Because I didn't
Yes.
see he said now that it did not happen.
So maybe this is an open debate whether the code was significantly changed or not. It's like for us to decide. I mean, the functionality itself wasn't changed; just was what was added. Like no API change, and the only thing is like we have seamless support for namespace local confinement. This is a little bit of implementation details, but this is inside there, and we like we already have the tests, and we plan to in beta to add more end-to-end testing for the global versus local confinement, and maybe the transition from the global to local mode. So we do feel confident with moving into beta, but once again, if it's like if it smells like if it sounds not if according to your opinions big changes, then we can think about doing it like alpha and then beta. So
Igor, did the API change?
no.
So
Yeah,
it's
didn't
basically just the backend
Yeah.
changes in the
Exactly.
backend. I think one of the main concerns with moving from alpha to beta is API stability, and I think here, if we agree that the API is more or less stable, like for me it's less concerning.
Yeah, that's exactly why we were thinking to nominate it for beta, because no API change like at all. That was like one of the arguments. Yes, sorry. Does anyone else? I don't see the screen. Just a second. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's basically it on my side. That's what I wanted to share with you.
So it sounds like we're all fine with going beta. But
yeah, if it sounds cool, then you can respond in the thank you very much. Yeah, so next topic is Alex Michael.
Hey, so Michael's not here today. I think he has a conflict or something. But basically, what we wanted to bring up is like this VEP from a previous cycle that was kind of pushed back on, and just potentially get folks to reconsider. I can give some context. This is about some special maintenance VM types, which is apparently a real use case in some environments that need to perform raw I/O. And for that, you would need a special capability on the Vert launcher. This pattern is somewhat existing today with I can't remember which capabilities, but there is precedent to certain capabilities being allow listed in KubeVirt. And this is about adding another one. And the pushback was mainly about extending the SCC, which is understandable. And also the whole idea of OpenShift coupling, which capability, right? It's the cap row IO, I believe it's called. Lets you cut, sys row IO.
No.
So-
I was asking which capability, like, where's the precedent? I think the only precedent that we have is to add capabilities to a root, like a root launchers. And this is behind the feature gate and only being used with the, I think NVIDIA are the only one who are using this. And we are really, really anxious of getting rid of this. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure which capability we have already, but sorry for interrupting you.
I'm pretty sure we have a capability for running a DHCP server, but it's largely considered a harmless capability, if you wish.
No, there is just binding. It's not. Yeah, It's not considered something privileged.
It's still a capability that's on the binary, on the vert launcher binary, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can accept that the precedent, there is no precedent for like a dangerous capability like this one. That part is true. But I believe that the whole plumbing, and remember, this is like the risk here is on the OpenShift side, right? There is no SCC and upstream, and there is no need for that special webhook that exists in the VEP upstream. So upstream, you get the baseline, and if you respect the baseline, if your admin made you respect the baseline, you don't need to worry. Like you're okay upstream. So the rejection is around OpenShift. That's the part I wanted to bring up. Yeah, Vladik.
Thanks. I think there are two parts here for me that were prerequisites. I think I told this to Michael as well. I think first of all, we as KubeVirt needs to get rid of SSC entirely and stop managing it. And I think it's part of this work we can do that to remove it from KubeVirt. And then the second is about taking responsibility for who is adding this capability. And I think if you take just regular users, pod users upstream in upstream Kubernetes, then I mean, in order to add a capability, they need to manually go ahead and do it. And then it's not us who are managing it. It's not KubeVirt that takes responsibility for it. But if you want to enable this, I mean, you could add it. The problem here is that we cannot dynamically do it. At least we don't have a code that dynamically does that. If I expose a capability on a VM, it doesn't trickle down to the pod. It doesn't add the ambient capabilities. But this is doable. This is very doable. I think I showed this to at least Lubo, I think. And then this way, if we are getting rid of the SCC entirely in KubeVirt and we are allowing dynamically to propagate capabilities, then I don't see a problem with adding anything like this. But I mean, besides these prerequisites, I think it's a little bit kind of strange that we will expose ourselves to this. That's my take.
So if I understand correctly, if this VEP would also tackle the SCC decoupling, we could have a path forward.
SCC decoupling and dynamic propagation of capabilities, then yes. At least for me. Jed,
to be honest, yeah, Jed.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a side question, and this is not really the forum, but how will you? So that means KubeVirt cannot ever run under OpenShift's restricted PSA anymore, right? Once you add the capability, or do you plan to try to convince OpenShift to add that other capability to the list of allowable ones?
No, no. No, I think you got it right. Actually, I'm not so sure. I have to check.
What I remember from conversation with Michael is that you can manually somehow override this SSC and bring your own, or so a webhook that does that ahead of time could do it, but I mean, I don't really clear on this dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, you can change the SCC all you want, but it's going to be rejected by PSA. But again, this is an OpenShift specific question, so maybe not the right place.
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't like. I would prefer not to handle all of this SCC stuff in KubeVirt. But if we are taking responsibility and we are providing this SCC, and then I don't think that we should comply with whatever we're providing. And if we are not, then it's a bit strange.
Yeah. Okay. Did you ever share that dynamic ambient capability approach, or is it like a private
Yeah.
branch?
Well, I did a POC. I showed it to Lubo that this is possible, and I think I told Michael about this as well. But I can dedicate some time and um, make a bit like a push it to a branch.
Cool. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I have a question. I didn't read the web, but why is it a requirement to have this functionality of dynamic propagation of the capability? What is the scenario that it is addressing?
I believe you just want like a generic solution instead of having to hard code the list of capabilities at all times. Like you want to only add it to the list when you actually need it based on the VM spec.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. I think anything else on this topic?
Yeah, I see the question about implementing this as a plugin. I think if we expose a bunch of plugin endpoints, like new ones, then we potentially could. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure it was discussed before. I think there's a small pain point, but it's doable.
I think if I remember correctly, this was a question about long-term long-term maintenance of the plugins, like who is responsible to ship this and so on. But I think overall, eventually we can get to a situation that it's part of KubeVirt, or kind of easy to enable in KubeVirt if someone does that. But I think as a first go, I would aim for a plugin.
Okay. It's fair.
Cool. So thank you, Alex, for bringing this up. Yeah. And next topic from Puneet, support for IBM Power.
I have. Hello, team.
Hello.
Yeah. So, with me joining my colleagues Paul and Guna, we are from IBM Power team, and this is the proposal we wanted to put into the table for supporting the power architecture in the KubeVirt community. So why we are approaching now is like there was an history of the PPC was being supported in 2020s, and now it's been removed because of some lacking of the infrastructure and also some challenges with sustained maintenance. Because of that, it's been removed, and now we have a strong backup with our management, and also we have worked on the POCs with the cross compilation, and we brought our QBot in Power Architecture. So we have already done the POCs, and also this web the states that this is the architecture. It will adds a new to the QBot community, and also it will get benefited with whoever use the Power Architecture, and they can use the QBot as an virtual manager in the container platform. So and this web is already been looked by Lee and Dennis, and they have went through this web and they have provided some comments, and we have addressed it, and now we are being backed up with the strong management, and we can provide the CI infrastructure to the community, and also and we actually we tried with the native Bazel, but we ended up a lot of issues with the Bazel because the Bazel is not supported on the Power Architecture. So we did the cross compilation on x86, and we got our images for the QBot. And also we are trying out the CI, the mimicking the CI to run the E2E test on our clusters. And this is what we wanted to bring it to the table, and the community can accept, and we are looking for an positive things.
Thank you for bringing it up. It's great to hear that you can provide the upstream with the CI infrastructure for testing and running it. So that sounds great. So yeah, anyone has questions about it?
So sorry, this is Paul here. I'm one of the tech leads for this project for IBM Power. I just wanted to make sure you know, like, it's just going to take us time to stand up the CI, and so we would do it over a period of months if this were accepted.
I see.
So we have the hardware. We'll make it happen. It's just like we just don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, I got you. I think what I'm thinking of is it will require us to collaborate with 6CI, with Daniel and Dylan, in order to arrange everything on the upstream side in order to connect the hardware, I guess. I will try to take a look at the web as well.
Yeah, there is a comment saying for targeting, Jed, we are trying to target 110. We started working from 19, and now we wanted to target on 110.
I just heard that you're going to need multiple months to set up the CI. So
yeah, I'm trying to be cautious. I'm trying not to oversell. So I just wanted to put a little caution to you and say, like, we'll absolutely work on this, but we just need to set up the hardware, make sure everything passes before we get to the point of passing it. It may be a few months as we work out the issues related to it. So like I'm just trying to be overly cautious with you and not say like day one you accept this VEP, we'll have the hardware stood up and the CI stood up. We will certainly work on it in 1.10. And my month's comment was just to be, once again, very cautious. But we do have the hardware identified. We do have management buy-in to support it. Like this is something that we're going to support. So yeah, I just want to be overly cautious and make sure you understand that the hardware will not be there day one. I shouldn't say hardware. I should differentiate the two. The passing proud job will not be there day one, but we will get there.
Yeah, and I think this is fine. This is going for alpha in 1.10, right? That's the aim. Yeah, so I think beta is more tricky to get to without passing functional tests.
Yes.
And we hope to address those issues as quickly and rapidly as possible.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm just thinking whether this effort will be orthogonal to the effort of removing Basel, but I need to think about it. Yeah, more like deep.
So I did not speak up at that point when we were talking about that, but Punith has already interlocked with Sidhu to talk about that. So like they've already like said yes, like this is what we're proposing, and so like they're also in IBM, right? So we're trying to coordinate and make sure that we see where you're going as a community and that we jump in the stream at the right spot and help move it forward. And so as such, like Punith will work with a couple of our developers to support that where it's needed. And I think someone on our leadership team said chop wood and carry water. And we would look to do that both for a benefit of PowerPC, but also a benefit for the community as well. So that's where I think we can not just add, but we can contribute or help maintain the overall community. So yeah, we're looking beyond just our own immediate needs and trying to figure out where we can help going forward.
Thank you very much for the contribution and for the effort. That sounds really great. Yeah, and I think we then can move to the next topic. Yeah, which is at Steve, how are you?
Yes, hello everyone. Just audio check. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yeah, with some background, a little bit background noise.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so I'll get started. So basically, I just wanted to bring up a request for comment I already posted in KubeVirt dev. So in KubeVirt v1.9, we added VEP 248. What this VEP does is it adds stall detection. So a typical migration, as it makes progress, eventually it stalls out, meaning it can no longer make any progress because the writable working set that the VM has, it's dirtying memory faster than it can transfer. And eventually this happens to all migrations. Currently in KubeVirt, we use the default QEMU target downtime of 300 milliseconds. So that means as long as our migration can at least meet 300 milliseconds, it always migrates. Now, this question is that oftentimes, or there are use cases for when you might want downtimes lower than 300 milliseconds. For example, cloud gaming, which is gaining traction. The stall detection functionality can actually already achieve this, figure out what the best downtime would be, with the trade-off of possibly increasing the total migration time. And yeah, this is basically what this post is asking, that does this make sense to add this functionality for all migrations? I think probably not. And if not, then how should the API look like for something like this, right? And I just came up with a random API spec for what the API for this suggestion might look like. And I just wanted to hear thoughts, because I know like we typically don't like making the migration API even messy.
Does anybody have a question or opinion on this?
If there's anything that I need to repeat, let me know.
There are opinions, it's just they're difficult. no time to really sit down and think about those. I mean, some time ago, I mean, when we started all of this work, there was also a notion of defining the workloads that are uninterruptible, or basically we don't want them to be interrupted during migration. And then with this, with this API that we wanted to introduce, we also thought that okay, how do we make this per node, or come up with the logic that expresses on a general level how important the migration is, how important the workload is, and then if it's less important or less interruptible, then we could do pretty much whatever we want with it. Try to apply all kinds of different methods to just make it migrate faster, and then on the other hand, if it's very important to keep the workload uninterrupted, just to be on the most safest side of things, then I guess we need to do whatever it takes just to get the migration done, faster or slower, it doesn't matter. So I mean, in general, we already have this API kind of intent expressed, but I'm not entirely sure if we need more, or we need to take a step back and think like what we have already in terms of API or in terms of policies that we could introduce, and maybe try to make sense of what we have right now and build a story around it rather than going and introducing more API.
Vladik, if I may interrupt you,
Yeah.
if I'm understanding you correctly, so I don't think that what I'm suggesting here has anything to do with interrupting the VM. This is basically only a total migration time versus downtime trade-off. Like this should have nothing to do with like SLAs or guaranteeing certain performance levels for the VMs. This is just, do you want to trade off? Do you want to potentially trade off a longer migration for being able to get a downtime lower than 300 milliseconds?
Yeah, but downtime is interruption, isn't it?
Right, but so this is like, do you want even lower interruption than right now what KubeVirt, the lowest downtime KubeVirt supports, which is 300 milliseconds. Like as is in
Right.
KubeVirt, you can't really get a downtime of less than 300 milliseconds, because as soon as you can meet that 300 millisecond timeline, like KubeVirt will do the migration, even if continuing the pre-copy phase would theoretically result in even lower downtimes. Does that make sense?
It does, but I wonder if it like why do you think it doesn't correlate with the API that we currently have that says that okay, no matter what, don't interrupt my workload, or do whatever it takes to keep my workload safe during migration.
So currently we define workload disruption as not being able to meet that 300 millisecond downtime, right? Like if you can't meet it, then
Yes.
allow workload disruption lets you go higher. What I'm talking about here is being able to do even lower than 300 milliseconds.
Yeah, but isn't it a detail? I mean, the intention is that, like, if I'm looking from admin point of view, like, there are certain workloads that shouldn't be interrupted, 300 or not 300 or whatever. Like, just do whatever it takes, whatever you think is right to get my workload from one node to another as safe as possible. I think that's the that's an intention, right?
Right. So as a reminder, VEP 248 added a max downtime field, and this max downtime field defines what is the maximum downtime we tolerate before we consider this workload disrupted. So what this thread is proposing that instead of like having an arbitrary target downtime, stall detection can dynamically figure out the best possible downtime for that particular workload.
Right. Yeah, I know, but it added this as an alpha field. And so I mean,
That's right.
for me, I mean, it was always something that perhaps it will go away, or perhaps it would be integrated as some kind of an advanced field. But if we'll just purely look at the API that we have, so basically do whatever it takes to migrate. It means that no matter increase the downtime as much as you want, just get my workload over. I know. So yeah, that falls under like interruptibility. I don't know. I think that by default it may behave this way, and then like a targeted policy would be able to override that or extend that. You know, maybe we should create a ad hoc meeting about this.
Okay. Yeah, I could schedule something. But just to be clear, maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying, or you aren't understanding what I'm saying. But I'll try to phrase it a little bit better. The reason why I think that allow workload disruption and this are two different things is that with allow workload disruption, the idea is as you said, that let the downtime get as high as it needs to be to get my VM migrated. Here, what this is saying is, okay, I don't, for most workloads, you don't need a really low downtime, like 300 milliseconds is more than good enough. What this is enabling is that your workload would benefit from having even lower downtimes than 300 milliseconds. So what this enables is, okay, I want to trade off additional migration time to get even lower downtimes. And again, not every workload benefits from 300 millisecond downtime versus 100 millisecond downtime. Only select workloads like, say, cloud gaming would benefit from this, which is why I'm not sure if this should be enabled for everyone.
Yeah, but then again, the admin is the one who is enabling these parameters. I mean, from my point of view, the admin cannot know. Yes, it cannot go selectively per workload. Right, it needs to set some kind of a specific global policy, or create a dedicated migration policy that would target specific VMs, and there he will be able to express it. That these type of workloads they needs this, but in general, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So something like this wouldn't make sense in the KubeVirt CR, only like migration policy, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Anything else you would like to bring up on this topic?
As if maybe you can create an invite for this, for us to think about all the aspects. It's just difficult to kind of on the fly to talk about.
Is there a particular time slot you prefer?
No, I don't know. Something that will work for everybody. Maybe some other people will be interested.
How about next week at the same time?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Cool. So yeah, thank you, Asif. Thank you for bringing it. Yeah, and yeah, I think that we are on time and no more topics on today. Anyone wants to bring something for the open floor? Well, then I count it as no. Then thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice rest of the day. And see you in the next web meeting.
Thanks, Igor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.